Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. It's a big pleasure to be here today. To my friends in Pakistan, Assalamu alaikum. It's great to be here with you. My name is Marcelo Duarte. I'm the Director of International Relations at ABRAPA, the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association. I'd like to say that it's a big pleasure to be present and to be running the first Cotton Brazil Outlook webinar in Pakistan. We have here today Brazil, the second largest cotton exporter, and Pakistan, one of the most important textile manufacturers of the world and exporters of the world, and the fourth largest cotton importer of the world. So it's really big time, big event. This is the first Cotton Brazil Outlook, and it has been put together by ABRAPA, ANEA, the Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association, Apex Brazil, the Brazilian Trade and Investment Promotion Agency, and also co-organized by the Embassy of Brazil in Islamabad and APTIMA, the All Pakistan Textile Manufacturers Association. Before the webinar begins, I would like to give a quick guidance also how we make the most of our meeting this afternoon. First of all, in terms of the language, it's very important that you pick the language in the bottom right of your screen. It's saying interpretation, as you can see. It's really even though you are understanding me because I'm speaking English, please choose English because we're going to have some speakers who will be speaking in Portuguese. Then if you pick English, you will get the simultaneous translation. So if you don't pick any language, you will not be getting the translation when it's needed. So make sure you choose English and click so that we can move on. Great. And now regarding Q&A, we're going to have a Q&A session in the end. It's normally a very interactive part of the meeting. So we will be taking questions, discussions. We're going to have some guests to discuss here live with us, but we will be interacting with everyone through the Q&A button. So please feel free and ask questions. And if we don't have time to take all your questions, we will be emailing you with our answers if there's no time in the end. Today, we are going to share information about the Brazilian cotton industry and of course, interact with important clients, important stakeholders from the Pakistani textile industry to understand how we can be a stronger supplier. We already supply 1 of every 4 imported bales to Pakistan. We know we could do more if we talk more, if we interact more. So the meeting today is going to have the following structure. First, we're going to have the welcome remarks. So I would like to thank in a very special way our guests today who were here for our meeting. So first of all, our President Julio Busato, who is President of ABRAPA and will be speaking to us. And also we're going to have the Ambassador Olinto Vieira and also Mr. Adil Bashir, Chairman of APMA. So please so thank you very much for coming. And also I would like to thank also Mr. Shahid Sattar, who will also join us, especially in the Q&A session, bringing some insights from Pakistan and how we can, of course, work together. So thank you very much for being here. So let's move on and start now with this first part of the meeting, and covering 99% of Brazil's cotton production and 100% of the country's total cotton exports. ABRAPA, the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association, is a leading national commodity organization in Brazil, representing Brazilian growers domestically and internationally. Therefore, I would like to call Mr. Julio Busato, President of ABRAPA, for his welcome remarks.
Obrigado, Marcelo. Boa tarde a todos. Eu quero agradecer ao embaixador Olinto Vieira e a toda a equipe da Embaixada Brasileira no Paquistão pelo apoio na organização e realização dessa reunião. Dizer, embaixador, que nós temos um amigo em comum que está nos assistindo, que é o ex-presidente da Embrapa, o Dr. Sebastião Barbosa. E agradecer ao Mr. Adil Bashir, chairman da Aptima, e aos nossos parceiros da PEX e da ANEA. O Paquistão tem uma longa história e tradição no setor têxtil. E hoje o Brasil se tornou o quarto maior produtor mundial de algodão e o segundo maior exportador mundial de algodão. E nós queremos e podemos crescer ainda mais. E gostaríamos de poder participar mais do mercado de algodão no Paquistão. Mas, para isso, nós precisamos nos conhecermos melhor. O Brasil, na verdade, se tornou um grande exportador de algodão somente a partir de 2018, quer dizer, há 2, 3 anos atrás. Então, nós precisamos levar para vocês como nós, produtores de algodão brasileiros, estamos produzindo o algodão. Quem somos, o que pensamos e aquilo que fazemos. E é isso que nós queremos mostrar hoje para vocês aqui nessa reunião. Gostaria que no final das apresentações vocês fizessem todas as perguntas que surgirem e tirassem todas as dúvidas que vocês tiverem, justamente para que nós possamos iniciar uma conversa e melhorar a nossa relação de comercialização. Tenho certeza que será uma ótima reunião. Então, uma boa tarde, uma boa reunião para todos. Marcelo, volto para você.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your kind words. It's very important to have full support of Embrapa's board of directors and the president's personally involved in this project, which makes it even more important and significant for Brazil, and shows how important it is to be here. You know, the leading person of our organization is here with you today. Cotton Brazil also receives the important support from the Brazilian government through the Embassy of Brazil in Islamabad. And therefore, I would like to call and welcome Ambassador Olinto Vieira for his welcome speech.
Thank you, Marcelo. It is indeed a pleasure to be with you today, with all the participants of this webinar. It's the Brazilian Embassy in Islamabad is happy to be part of this process. As I had an opportunity to say before in our last meeting, it's we see that it's more than just selling goods or buying goods. It's the matter of building a sustainable and durable relationship. It means selling, it means buying, it means thinking strategically. We stimulate either the exporters or the importers to develop new approaches to this relationship. We know that Pakistan has a very large tradition in producing cotton, in producing textiles, The country has some difficulties, I would say, in this moment in the production of cotton that can be supplied by our producers. But I see that we think, if we think strategically, we can build partnerships for the long run. As President Bussato mentioned, Brazil developed the cotton industry, let's say, in recent years. We all know that not so many years ago, we almost had nothing. So we developed the production, the technology, and this put us in the position we have today. And I'm sure that we are ready to exchange and to cooperate with other countries and this country, with this country in particular. Mr. Bussato mentioned that we have a common friend in this meeting, who is Dr. Sebastião Barbosa. I would salute him particularly. Dr. Barbosa is, I would say that his history is confounded with the history of Embrapa, and is a good example of how we can work to develop science and technology, and using well science and technology, we can reach results as we reached in the cotton segment. Again, I must tell you all that the Brazilian embassy is here, is quite eager to cooperate and give you all the support we can give to go ahead with this project that we recruit. Is very important and on which we have great expectations. Thank you so much and have a success in this meeting. To you, Marcelo. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Your endorsement is really important for the success of this initiative. We've been talking a lot, and we appreciate your personal involvement in this project and the great dedication of Adriana and the rest of your team at the embassy. Thank you very much, and we hope to continue counting on the Brazilian embassy in Islamabad. Now it's time to call our friend who is representing today the Pakistani textile sector. It's a really an honor and a big pleasure to be here today introducing Mr. Adil Bashir, who is the chairman of APTMA. It's really important to us to be partnering with such an important organization representing such a powerful, such an organized exporting sector in Pakistan. We come from distant countries that are hoping to be even closer now with the opening of the office that we have here in Asia, and where I am sitting here right now in Singapore. And after I moved here, I've been contacting in very frequently our friends in Pakistan. And I look forward to be there with you as soon as possible. So now it's time to hear the words, and let's welcome Mr. Adil Bashir, Chairman of APTMA, who is going to say his welcome words. Thank you, Mr. Adil.
Thank you, Marcelo. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for your words, and Mr. Bussato. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the first session of Cotton Brazil Outlook. We in Pakistan look forward to establish linkages between Brazilian cotton sector and the Pakistan textile industry, which is very, very important, especially in the current circumstances. APTMA is one of the largest body of textile sector in Pakistan and is dedicated to ensuring the viability and competitiveness of Pakistan's textile industry. And the revival of Pakistan's cotton sector is a crucial aspect. Brazil offers vast business opportunities to Pakistan, especially in the agriculture sector that incorporates corporate farming, which we look forward to exploring. Brazil has emerged as the major player in the world cotton sector. As of 2019-20, Pakistan imported approximately 95,000 tons of cotton from Brazil. And we hope to increase the bilateral trade with Brazil and to learn from Brazil's cotton development model. In both these areas, we seek your collaboration and support. The lack of investment in cotton seed research and not being able to adopt new technology owing to poor enforcement of intellectual property rights has brought us to this situation. And now we need to import from all over the world. And I think last year, Pakistan was the third largest destination for the Brazilian cotton. So, we have to learn a lot from Brazil. Brazil has laid a strong foundation for the cotton sector that can effectively cater to the fast changing world markets. Their broad macroeconomic policy has also encouraged investment in cotton, and agriculture policies provide a safety net during periods of low prices of various commodities, especially cotton. The Brazilian cotton industry is an excellent success story, and Pakistan can learn a lot from Brazil's struggles and success. And one can appreciate that the production of high volume, high quality cotton in Brazil is no small achievement, but rather one that came as a result of hard work. Cotton production in Pakistan has unfortunately plunged last year by 34%, and we produced 5.57 million bales. At one time, Pakistan used to produce 14.5 million bales of cotton. Considering this shortfall, Pakistan will roughly import around 6 million bales. And because of the poor productivity, the quality, and various other reasons, and it's actually put the textile industry at risk. The textile industry actually contributes to 60% of total exports of the country. So one can, we can imagine that the importance of this industry for Pakistan's exports. So we need to do everything to safeguard the interests of the industry. We are facing our lowest cotton production in 30 years, which is alarming. The production shortfall has forced the entire value chain to rely on imported cotton, with imports expenditures of over $5 billion of just cotton imports in the last 4 years. And this year, we expect to import cotton in excess of $2 billion. So the issues of Pakistan's cotton sector include the failure of cotton seed, which is substandard and not resistant to pests and diseases. The world, on the other hand, has shifted to genetically modified seeds and improved their cotton production and yield per acre. But Pakistan still faces inferior seed quality problems. There also need to facilitate entry of international seed companies with transgenic technologies into Pakistan's market. The adoption of local varieties must also be fast-tracked. Measures are necessary for the production of long staple cotton, for value-added products, and to meet domestic demand of high-quality fabrics. Furthermore, the currently available pesticides have also failed to yield results against major cotton pests. So on one hand, we understand that, through this seminar, Brazil is promoting their cotton crop as to Pakistan, but we also need to learn from Brazil, and transfer of technology is needed so we can improve Pakistan's cotton crop as well. So we at Aptima are looking forward to visiting Brazil and observing firsthand the many efforts towards modernization and expansion that have enabled such impressive growth in output and value addition of cotton. I would also like to extend my invitation to all those present and to visit Pakistan, and if possible, provide their feedback on how to proceed and improve our cotton sector, especially on the agriculture side. I must mention that despite hurdles in the cotton sector in Pakistan, the textile sector has shown impressive growth for the country with positive impacts on industrial expansion and job creation. Our overall exports have been increasing for the last 7 months, and 60% our textile exports. Last month, in January, our exports were up 8% to $2.14 billion. Value-added exports, including ready-made garments, knitwear, home textiles, and other major exports have also shown substantial increase in both quantity and value. And even the large scale manufacturing increased by 14.5% in November 2020. So we are seeing a revival of the economy in Pakistan. And textile has a very, very important role in the overall economy of Pakistan. Moving ahead, we look to Brazil cotton industry seeking to adopt their highly efficient and successful model. We are on track to double Pakistan's textile capacity. We have a new textile policy coming, and we expect a huge investment in the sector in the next 3 to 4 years. And we expect that we can, almost double our exports in the next 4 to 5 years. So this will, of course, increase our requirement for cotton for the industry, and Brazil being a major trading partner going forward, especially in the textile industry. So we look for your support, guidance, and also in the cotton agriculture side and the ginning, the whole chain, we're looking for cooperation from the Brazil government, ABARA, and all the stakeholders. In the end, I would like to thank you everyone for attending this webinar, and we hope to learn from the speakers and the discussions that we will have. And this will actually, we hope that, in the coming months and years will strengthen our relationship. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Bashir. Shukriyan. It was very nice to hear you speak, and how much you want this partnership to happen in all fields. I'm totally sure that we will be doing more meetings. We will be meeting together, and certainly going to Pakistan and hopefully receiving your delegations and to learn and exchange, because only learning and helping each other we will be able to grow and reach a different level, both in the cotton and also in the textile sector. So big pleasure to hear your speech. Now it's time to move on and on a webinar and start our technical part, where we were going to discuss Brazilian cotton production. So we're going to have some presentations starting with Mr. Bussato, and then we move on who's going to be speaking about cotton production in Brazil in general. Then we move to quality, and then sustainability, and finally we're going to have a presentation about trade and exports. And after all this, we're going to have our Q&A session, and I see we have already some questions, so we look forward to take your questions and to have a very, very fruitful discussion towards the end of this webinar. So let's start now with President Bussato. So President Julio Bussato is going to present to us cotton production in Brazil. Please, let's welcome President Julio Bussato for his presentation.
Olá, meu nome é Júlio César Bussato. Sou engenheiro agrônomo, agricultor, produtor de algodão no Brasil e presidente da Associação Brasileira dos Produtores de Algodão, ABRAPA. Estou aqui para falar sobre a produção e a rastreabilidade do algodão brasileiro. Em 20 anos, nos transformamos de segundo maior importador mundial de algodão para o segundo maior exportador e queremos continuar crescendo ainda mais. Mas como isso aconteceu? Através da união dos cotonicultores brasileiros em suas associações estaduais, todas coordenadas pela ABRAPA, onde buscamos, através de novas tecnologias e melhorias no sistema de produção e beneficiamento do algodão, produzir um algodão de melhor qualidade para o mercado. Hoje, produzimos algodão em quantidade, qualidade, com fornecimento durante os 12 meses do ano, credibilidade conquistada através dos programas que desenvolvemos aqui na Abrapa. Na última safra, colhemos um volume recorde de 3 milhões de toneladas, que nos tornou o quarto maior produtor mundial de fibra. Nessa safra que estamos iniciando o plantio, teremos uma área menor do que a safra anterior. Isso em função do mercado e da baixa remuneração que a lavoura de algodão proporcionava para os produtores naquele momento. Saliento que nas últimas 4 safras, os cotonicultores brasileiros dobraram a produção de algodão e que podemos repetir esse feito, desde que tenhamos a melhoria na rentabilidade da cultura e mercado para vendermos nossa produção. E é isso que estamos buscando. Nossa estratégia é de longo prazo e queremos clientes para continuar crescendo e investindo cada vez mais em qualidade, sustentabilidade e rastreabilidade. O Cotton Brasil, que estamos apresentando a vocês hoje, já nasce com estes compromissos: qualidade, sustentabilidade e rastreabilidade. Contem com o Cotton Brasil. Juntos estamos semeando um futuro melhor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Following on his presentation, Mr. Julio asked me to share with you some slides on some numbers of the Brazilian cotton production. So first, I would like to share the numbers of the numbers of Brazil's production up to last season. So the season that we have already harvested. So we finished harvesting around August. So, and we are finishing ginning this cotton. So the cotton of this 3 million tons 1920 crop is the 2021 marketing crop. So that's the crop that you're getting right now in your mills. So we had a record production of 3 million tons in 1920. So we more than doubled production in the last 4 years, 2.3 times increase. Another point, that number that's in this slide is that 79% is the share of international markets as compared to domestic markets. So Brazil used to be a net importer, then started to be sourcing our local industry, and now our local mills respond to only 21%. So 79% goes to several destinations, dozens of destinations around the world. Next picture is what's happening right now. So now we are finishing planting. So it's a double crop system in 60% of the area in Brazil. So 60% we have cotton being planted as the soybean is harvested. So same year, same season. So we plant beans, then you plant cotton. So it's almost finishing. So we should be around 80% right now planting. So next week it's probably done. So planting will be over, and then we'll start harvesting. Could you please move on? Next slide. So harvest will start about June. So June, July, August is harvest time in Brazil, and 100% of our harvest is mechanized. So it's very important that we point on that, because it's very it's contamination free, and 100% of our cotton because of this technology of harvesting. And another point, important point of the Brazilian cotton sector that I would like to share with you, that is that farmers are, as Mr. Adil said, as corporate farms, professional farmers, large areas, wide use of technology, high yields, yields of more than 1.8 tons per hectare. As I said, mechanized harvest, low use of irrigation, only 8%, high adoption of sustainability schemes, and increasingly export-oriented, and finally, a big focus on quality with 100% HVI testing. So, talking about quality, it's now time to move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker will be talking about quality. He's the quality manager for Abrapa. He's the one in charge of the Abrapa quality program called SPR HVI, and his name is Edson Mizoguchi. So let's welcome Mr. Edson Mizoguchi for his presentation.
Olá, eu sou o Edson Mizoguchi, gestor responsável pelo programa SBR-HVI. Vou apresentar como o Brasil tem evoluído em seus indicadores de qualidade e credibilidade das análises de algodão. O programa SBR-HVI, Programa de Qualidade desenvolvido pela Abrapa, foi criado em 2016 e está estruturado em 3 pilares: monitoramento dos equipamentos de análise de HVI, integração de sistemas num banco de dados único e capacitação das equipes dos laboratórios participantes. Para realizar o monitoramento dos equipamentos de análise de HVI, a Abrapa construiu o Centro Brasileiro de Referência em Análise de Algodão, CBRA. Todas as normas estabelecidas pelo Manual para a Padronização da Classificação Instrumental de Algodão foram respeitadas, com monitoramento da climatização e sensores de alta precisão nas salas de preparação de amostras, acondicionamento e análise de HVI. O CBRA é certificado por ICA Bremen e acreditado pela ISO 17025 e se equipara aos melhores laboratórios do mundo em competência técnica. Sua função é monitorar todos os 11 laboratórios distribuídos nas regiões produtoras de algodão por meio de programas de checagem, reteste e verificação interna. É regra do SBR-HVI ainda que todos os laboratórios operem em rede, integrados ao sistema a fim de que as análises tenham um único resultado de origem e estejam concentradas num único banco de dados, ao qual produtores e compradores, depois de devidamente cadastrados, possuem acesso. E para aumentar a confiabilidade, harmonizamos os procedimentos e capacitamos as equipes que trabalham nos laboratórios, com o fornecimento de normas internacionais para a padronização das análises e treinamento constante. Um dado que é muito relevante sobre o algodão brasileiro é o fato de que 100% da nossa produção é analisada por instrumento de alto volume do tipo HVI. O programa SBR-HVI atualmente monitora 67 equipamentos HVI de 11 laboratórios, sendo que 39% deles já possuem colorímetro duplo, garantindo maior confiabilidade na leitura de cor. Com o SBR-HVI, que já está em operação há 4 anos, a taxa de confiabilidade das análises tem aumentado de maneira consistente, de 90,8 na safra 2016-17 para 96,3 em 2019 e 20. Hoje, o Brasil tem algodão de qualidade, que atende a todos os segmentos da indústria têxtil. E essa qualidade tem se mantido e melhorado a cada safra, nas principais características que são valorizadas pelas indústrias. Em relação à Micronair, 99% da nossa produção se enquadra entre 3,5 e 4,9. No índice de resistência, 98% é maior que 27 gramas por tex. 96% do algodão produzido no Brasil tem comprimento de fibra igual ou maior que 1,08 da polegada, staple 35 e acima. É interessante enfatizar que na safra 16-17, 63% da produção se enquadrou em igual ou maior que 1,11 polegada, staple 36 e acima. Esse indicador evoluiu consistentemente e na safra 2019-20 atingiu 85%. Em relação à uniformidade da fibra, 87% da produção é maior que 80%. E o índice de fibras curtas evoluiu de 61% em 2014-15 para 79% da produção, com um índice menor que 10% na safra 2019-20. O programa SBR-HVI garante que os resultados das análises do algodão brasileiro são confiáveis e contribui para que possamos fornecer uma matéria-prima de qualidade crescente ao mercado global. Conte com o Cotton Brasil. Juntos, estamos semeando um futuro melhor.
Thank you, Mr. Edson. As you can see, quality has been the top of our priorities for the last several years. And now, if you want to know more about Brazilian cotton, quality of Brazilian cotton, and please take a look at this slide. So for the detailed information, updated statistics of HVI results for Brazilian crop per season, please access downloads.cottonbrazil.com/quality report. In this link, you will find the average results per parameter, like short fiber, uniformity, length, strength, you name it. All the main parameters are there, and you'll be able to see the evolution cropping year after cropping year per range of results. Next, please. And if you want to see the individual result bale by bale for the farmers that have already joined the program, because Embrapa has a program that provides individual data, has a database that provides, and you'll be able to see the detailed information in this website, cottonbrazil.com/traceability. There, you'll be able to check. Not all farmers have joined yet, but we're working hard to get most of our bales from next season on in the database so that our clients will be able to check this information. What information is that? Farm data information, gene data information, HVI data, detailed HVI data per bale, lab data, which lab the HVI was analyzed, and finally the information about the certifications, which certifications that bale or that farm is enrolled in. So talking about certification, that leads me to the next topic that we need to cover, which is sustainability. Sustainability is very key, very important. It's also a very important area that we work, and it's really underlying all the actions that we have from the farm to the gin, and from the gin to the final client of our cotton. So to talk about sustainability, we have here today Mr. Carlos Moresco. He's a cotton grower, and he's also the president of the Goiás Cotton Growers Association, and he's also serving at the Embrapa Board of Directors. So let's welcome Mr. Carlos Moresco for his presentation on cotton sustainability in Brazil.
Olá, meu nome é Carlos Moresco, sou produtor de algodão no Brasil. Estou aqui para falar sobre o compromisso do cotonicultor brasileiro com a sustentabilidade. O algodão brasileiro é cultivado de acordo com os programas de sustentabilidade que certificam a fazenda e também a algodoeira. Esse esforço começou ainda em 2005, ou seja, uma década e meia de ações para a produção de um algodão comprometido com o futuro das próximas gerações. Atualmente, são 3 iniciativas que se complementam. Nosso Programa Nacional, o ABR, Algodão Brasileiro Responsável, aplicado nas fazendas produtoras de algodão. A BCI, Better Cotton Initiative, que atua em benchmarking com o programa ABR desde 2013. E o novo programa ABR-UBA, Algodão Brasileiro Responsável para Unidades de Beneficiamento de Algodão, iniciado na safra 2019-2020. Esses 3 programas são estruturados de acordo com os 3 pilares da sustentabilidade: social, ambiental e econômico, contemplando as leis brasileiras e as melhores práticas internacionais. No pilar social, o foco é saúde e segurança do trabalhador, alinhado 100% às normas internacionais da OIT, a proibição de trabalho infantil e forçado e de conformidade total obrigatória. O pilar ambiental visa a preservação e qualidade do solo e da água, com boas práticas agrícolas e de beneficiamento, e foco na redução do uso de pesticidas e aumento do controle biológico e manejo integrado de pragas. O pilar econômico prioriza a rentabilidade para a longevidade do negócio, com excelência operacional, gestão de custo de produção e comercialização. No Brasil, desde 2013, nenhuma fazenda é licenciada BCI se não for primeiramente certificada pelo programa ABR. Assim, nosso Programa Nacional de Sustentabilidade ficou ainda mais forte no cenário internacional. Entre 2013, ano do benchmarking, e 2020, sempre ocupamos o primeiro lugar mundial em produção e fornecimento de algodão Better Cotton. No ano de 2019, contribuímos com 36% do volume mundial do algodão licenciado pela BCI. Os programas de sustentabilidade do algodão brasileiro estão presentes em 8 estados produtores de algodão, responsáveis por quase toda a produção nacional. Na safra 2019-2020, a fibra que vocês estão recebendo nas fiações e tecelagens agora, 75% de todo o algodão brasileiro é certificado ABR e licenciado BCI, o correspondente a 2,25 milhões de toneladas. Aliamos a produção sustentável com escala. O Brasil detém os maiores índices de produtividade em regime sequeiro do mundo. A produtividade média brasileira é de 1.802 quilos por hectare de pluma, enquanto a média mundial é igual a 766 quilos por hectare. Ainda, 92% da área plantada de algodão não utiliza nenhum tipo de irrigação, contando apenas com a água da chuva para o desenvolvimento da cultura. Acreditamos na melhoria contínua sempre. Ao todo, são considerados 178 itens para a certificação da fazenda e 170 itens para a certificação da algodoeira, organizados em 8 critérios: contrato de trabalho, proibição de trabalho infantil, proibição de trabalho análogo a escravo, indigno ou degradante, liberdade de associação sindical, proibição de discriminação de pessoas, segurança, saúde e meio ambiente do trabalho rural, desempenho ambiental e boas práticas agrícolas e industriais. Já no primeiro ano de certificação de uma fazenda, é necessário atingir no mínimo 85% de conformidade nos protocolos ABR e BCI. Em seguida, devem ocorrer melhorias a cada safra, até a fazenda atingir 90% de conformidade e se manter nesse patamar ou acima. O mesmo acontece para o programa ABR, exclusivo para unidades de beneficiamento de algodão, dependendo da categoria operacional na qual a algodoeira está enquadrada. É muito importante destacar que as certificações acontecem safra a safra e são realizadas por certificadoras de terceira parte, com reconhecimento internacional. Para finalizar, gostaria de reforçar: a produção de algodão no Brasil tem compromisso com a sustentabilidade. Os programas que desenvolvemos já possuem um histórico longo e estamos sempre comprometidos em evoluir. Cotton Brasil, que estamos apresentando a vocês hoje, já nasce com esse compromisso. Contem com Cotton Brasil. Juntos estamos semeando um futuro melhor.
Thank you, Mr. Moresco. Sustainability used to be something apart from everything, and now it's really in everything we do. It's you can't improve your yield, you can't improve your results if you're not working in a sustainable way. So this is part of the day-to-day life of our farmers, and every time I see this presentation, I am really proud of what has been achieved in that area. Now let's move on to trade. Let's move on to export. So it's time to talk about trade and exports and what the outlook for Brazil is in the next few years. So to have that conversation, we're going to have here Henrique Snitkowski, who is the president of ANEA, the Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association. So let's welcome Henrique for his presentation.
Olá, meu nome é Henrique Snitkowski, presidente da ANEA, Associação Nacional dos Exportadores de Algodão. Em nome de todo o setor, quero agradecer a participação de todos nesse importante evento. Aproximaremos cada vez mais o algodão brasileiro dos principais mercados consumidores. Nos anos 90, o Brasil foi o segundo maior importador do mundo de algodão. E de lá para cá, com muito trabalho de todo o setor, as exportações cresceram consistentemente e consideravelmente, fazendo com que o Brasil se tornasse o segundo maior exportador do mundo, representando cerca de 25% do comércio mundial de algodão. As exportações cresceram com a organização do setor, mostrando que é possível, de maneira integrada e estruturada, resolver os gargalos de logística e aumentar a capacidade de exportação do país. Quando o país embarcava 180 mil toneladas de algodão num único mês, o nosso desafio era superar a marca de 200 mil toneladas. Superamos essa marca e embarcamos 250 mil toneladas de algodão. E fomos em busca de um novo desafio, o desafio de embarcar 300 mil toneladas de algodão num único mês. O Brasil embarcou 333.200 toneladas de algodão no mês de novembro do ano de 2020. Esse é um importante dado para todo o setor que traz mais confiança para o importador do algodão brasileiro. O Brasil deixa de ser um exportador sazonal, aquele exportador que participava com 70% dos seus embarques durante o segundo semestre do ano, deixando apenas 30% para ser embarcado no primeiro semestre do ano subsequente. Agora o Brasil equilibra melhor essa sazonalidade, com grandes volumes embarcados ao longo de 12 meses, trazendo ainda mais confiança e regularidade para os principais mercados importadores, que necessitam programar de maneira antecipada as suas compras e principalmente a sua mistura dentro de suas indústrias. É com essa nova perspectiva que o Brasil vai trabalhar para trazer cada vez mais informação, transparência e credibilidade, aproximando o nosso setor cada vez mais. E o lançamento deste projeto marca um período muito importante desta transição, que é o Cotton Brasil, projeto que tem sede no destino, que carinhosamente chamamos de Embaixada do Algodão Brasileiro, e que terá muito trabalho pela frente para promover cada vez mais essa integração entre o país produtor e exportador com os principais países consumidores. Desejo a todos um excelente ano e que esta nova jornada seja uma jornada de muito sucesso para todo o nosso setor. Contem conosco e muito obrigado.
Thank you, Henrique. As you can see, Brazil's cotton has quality, sustainability, traceability, and now we're able to supply our clients worldwide 12 months per year, not only in a specific time of the year after harvest. I will talk about our vision to the future, but first I would like to share with you some numbers that Enrique mentioned. I would like to share you the slides so that we are on the same page, literally. So first of all, these are the numbers of our exports. So you see in the last 20 years, the growth has been impressive. So before the year 2000, Brazil was not exporting at all. And then we started exporting, and last season, we exported nearly 2 million tons. And this season, right now, this season that we are in, 2021, we should be exporting about 2.2 million tons. That puts Brazil in the second largest position, a second largest exporter in the world, exporting for more than 62 countries worldwide. When we look at our main clients, we're quite happy to see Pakistan placed in fourth as a very important client for Brazil. As in the next slide, please. Yes, there we go. And China first, Vietnam second, third, Bangladesh, and fourth, Pakistan, with a bit over 10% of our exports. And then we hope to see growing, increasing, because we know that we have been supplying better and better quality cotton at higher volumes every year. And also, next please. Brazil represents still only one of every 4 imported bales into Pakistan, 25% market share. So we know there's room for increase. We talk about imported bales, imported cotton. And so it's a jigsaw. You see the numbers are not consistent. So we've had that share before in the past when Pakistan used to import less. And what we're looking at when we look at this graph, we want to see more consistency, and that's why we are here. That's why we're willing to engage in a more long-term partnership with Optima and with Pakistani mills. Next, please. When we look at the short-term forecast, I know I've seen some questions about short-term forecast of Brazil. President Julio said in his presentation that area this year is going to be smaller than last year. Yes, as I said, we're finishing next week the planting of the cotton. So we don't have the final numbers yet, but it looks like the numbers are going to be around 16% less than they were last year. Why is that? Mainly because of climate. So we had a very bad year in terms of rain. So the planting was delayed for soybeans. So that, along with some uncertainties caused by COVID, caused this reduction. That we're not sure how much it's going to be. We're going to have this number soon, but it's going to be around this number. So, and this is going to cause reduction in production from 3 million tons to about 2.5. That's going to be our output, expected output for this this cropping year, which is going to represent the next marketing year, because we're going to be harvesting from June to August, as I said. Next, please. But the important point is, just as Mr. Adil said, that Pakistan wants to increase and more than double, quadruple the production, double the production of the textiles in the country. We are also looking at, in the short term, to more than double our exports. How are we going to do that? By increasing our production by 77%. These are numbers from the Ministry of Agriculture. With domestic consumption about around 600,000 to 900,000 tons. It's not going to be much more than that. We've reached a sort of a plateau. That leaves us with one option if you want to continue growing, to export. So trade will be our focus from now on, because we know we won't be able to grow in terms of production, in terms of ginning, if we work in a focus on the long term in the international market. So the message here is, even though we're going to have a short bump in our production this year, not bump in the opposite way, which means we're going to be see a slight reduction in the medium term. So the numbers are quite aiming at north or increasing direction for Brazil. Next, please. So that leads us to the Cotton Brazil initiative. So considering that we have a huge potential to continue growing our production, and that the international market is key for us to achieve our goals, we launched the vision. We launched the vision of making Brazil the Brazilian cotton the top choice for our clients worldwide. With this vision in mind, we're launching the Cotton Brazil initiative. The Cotton Brazil initiative is promoted by Abrapa, ANEA, and the PEX Brazil, and has 4 main pillars. First pillar is quality, as we discussed today, traceability, and sustainability. And these pillars have been at the focus of Abrapa for several years. And now we are adding a 4th pillar to the strategy, which is close relationship with our clients. And this is really what this meeting is all about. It's not only about providing with information, but also about making friends, making relationships, and getting close to countries. And they are so far away, but we can make efforts to make this relationship closer, even though we are in different continents. In that sense, Cotton Brazil is going to bring tools that will allow for this better communication and relationship with our clients. First, we have opened our first office in Asia. I am here. Here I am in Singapore, and I'll be traveling around Asia very frequently, and hopefully meeting in person with our clients, associations, leadership, and understanding their needs and wants in a permanent way. So we're not going to be doing this in specific times of the year. It's going to be permanent. I'm here. I moved with my family, and I'll be traveling around. We're going to have a website, and we have a website. It's going to be with 9 different languages. It's on cottonbrazil.com. So we have already this website, and we also have the social media in Facebook, LinkedIn, and also Instagram. You'll be able to follow us and to check the newest information about Brazil. We're going to be running technical workshops, marketing events, you name it. A lot of actions that will be able to provide a closer relationship and a closer understanding, and definitely more business, more deals, and more gain relationship with our clients. In that sense, I would like to ask you, if you're listening to me, you'll probably be receiving in the next few days, we haven't received yet, a survey about Brazilian cotton. It's very important to us that you answer these surveys, because that's going to be a very important tool for us to tailor our actions, to tailor our projects towards a better serve you and improve the textile industry in Pakistan. I mean, impressive textile industry in Pakistan. You guys do a great job, and we want to help you continue doing a great job with Cotton Brazil. So finally, it's an important strategy is also developing strategic relationships. So this is, and this brings us to Optima in Pakistan. So I think Optima again, Mr. Adil, on your name, I would like to thank all your staff and your team and your board and your members for working together with us, and we hope to make this relationship a long-lasting, important relationship for all of us. So before we move to the Q&A session, I would like to share with you a video on Cotton Brazil that share some of our values and some of our vision to the future. So please, let's play the video.
In view of so many transformations in the production and consumption processes, Cotton Brazil represents a new step for Brazilian cotton in the global market. After 20 years of constant innovation, research, and investments led by Abrapa, Brazilian Association of Cotton Growers, its members and partners, it's time to offer the textile universe a raw material that constantly seeks to evolve in quality and sustainability. The market prioritizes transparency, and Cotton Brazil fosters Brazilian cotton, emphasizing its support of the environment and its promotion of social and economic development. In our scenario, advanced technology and agricultural management tools add to the dedicated expertise of trained professionals to develop precision, sustainable growing practices. Supported by its calling for hard work and the search for continuous improvement, Brazil remains one of the main agricultural suppliers of food and raw materials in the world. We value productivity. We pride ourselves on being the fourth largest producer, second largest exporter, and the largest supplier of cotton licensed by the Better Cotton Initiative, BCI, in the world. And this journey gives us confidence to evolve and go further. Our field science is aligned with the delivery of a product increasingly in tune with the demands of buyers, spinners, and apparel manufacturers in Brazil and around the world. In Brazilian cotton, one will find proof of origin, traceability, quality, technology, sustainability, and now consistent year-round supply, thanks to a constant increase in productivity. Count on Cotton Brazil. Step by step, we grow for a better future together.
Thank you. So now I would like to ask our team to bring everybody to the screen so that I can see other participants that are going to be joining us in the Q&A session that we're going to start right now, please. So if you have questions, please use the Q&A. I'm getting some questions here in my WhatsApp, got some in my email, and we're going to have some live questions as well. And if you're in the audience and you want to participate, asking questions, please make sure you use the Q&A button in the bottom of your screen, and that's going to allow us to participate. It's Mr. Adil. He said he was going to return. Is he there, or? So if he's around, we could have him. He said he was going to participate in the Q&A as well.
I'm available, Marcelo.
Okay, Mr. Shahid, thank you. Elena, please send Mr. Adil another link. He's asking for a link to rejoin the meeting. Okay, and he'll be rejoining with us. There we go. Thank you very much again. So I would like to thank you, Mr. Shahid Sattar, and thank you very much for being here with us today. And I would like to start asking a question to President Julio. President Julio, also, sorry, I would like to introduce Miguel Faust. Miguel is in the board of directors of a Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association, ANEA, and is here today also representing the shippers of Brazil. So thank you, Miguel, for being here with us as well. So, Mr. Busato, we saw Mr. Adil's speech. He was mentioning the intention that Pakistan has of establishing a long-term relationship with Brazil. He was saying that Pakistan has the target of doubling the size of its textile industry, and of course they need to improve the output of their local cotton industry, but also of course they would need imported cotton as well. How do you see Abrapa and APTMA playing a role in this, working together in the future for improving the textile sector in Pakistan?
Olha, Marcelo e senhor Adil, nós precisamos primeiro, eu acho que melhorar, nos conhecemos melhor, né? Para melhorar a nossa relação de negócios. O Brasil, através da tecnologia e da escala, nós conseguimos, nos últimos 4 anos, dobrar a produção brasileira de algodão. E podemos repetir isso novamente. Por quê? Porque o Brasil cultiva 38 milhões de hectares de soja e apenas 1,5, 1,6 milhões de hectares de algodão. Então, nós retiramos 1,5 milhões de hectares da soja, dos 38 milhões, e novamente nós dobramos a produção brasileira de algodão. Mas o que nós precisamos para isso? Primeiro, precisamos que haja rentabilidade na cultura. E é o que tem se mostrado, principalmente através da produtividade que os cotonicultores brasileiros têm conseguido, eu diria que pelo seu trabalho, pela sua dedicação, mas também por um clima que nos favorece. Agora, nós precisamos, para isso, de mercado, né? E é isso que nós estamos buscando com vocês. Nós queremos, cada vez mais, criar uma relação de negócio ganha-ganha e podermos participar mais do mercado do algodão paquistanês, que hoje está abaixo de 20%. Eu acho que é isso, Marcelo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. I would like to move on and ask. Did you hear the answer, Mr. Adil? The answer was about your comments that you made in the beginning, but we're going to have so. The question I was going to ask could be either for Mr. Sattar or Mr. Bashir. How do you think Brazil? What should Brazil do in the short term and medium term to increase its share in the Pakistani cotton import market? So, what would you recommend us to as strategies to improve our access to your mills?
I'm sorry, I got disconnected in the middle. I think we discussed before we started this webinar and also in our previous meetings that American cotton has an edge over Brazilian cotton because of the classification. And we understand that now going forward, maybe next season, Brazilian cotton will also have the grading like green card in the US. So that could actually help in the selection process. And on top of that, you need to understand what are the competing growths. US is the biggest competition with Brazil. And then we used to import quite a bit of cotton from India, but because of the political situation, currently there is a ban on trade. So in future, that could also be a contention. You need to see that you would have to compete with Indian cotton also. But primarily, it is the U.S. cotton right now. And in recent years, Mexican cotton has also started coming into Pakistan, and the quality of cotton is improving. I mean, there are issues with that cotton, but it's improving. There's an issue of liability that face in Pakistan with the Brazilian cottons when we supply yarn to knitting factories. So we need to have some sort of collaboration that the growers or the merchants or I'm sure we also discussed that in our previous meeting, that we need to have some sort of we need to be educated on that front, because generally there is a preference of US cotton for knitting yarns, or even Pakistani cotton they prefer. But for import, when we compare with imports, generally US cotton and also West African cotton, certain growths are preferred. So if you could, when you have the classification available, and also what the mills in Brazil are doing when supplying to knitwear sector, so we need some sort of a technology transfer. And end of the day, having said all of that, American cotton, Brazil cotton, it boils down to the pricing, the transit time, because the transit time from Brazil and the US is quite long. So all of these factors need significant step. I think that will help Brazilian cotton to attract further markets and also increase the share in Pakistani market. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sattar, would you like to add anything to this question about how do you think Brazil could be increasing its share in the Pakistani textile and imported cotton market?
Yes, I mean, I think if your plant protection department could write to our plant protection department and get some of the formalities that are involved sorted out, that would ease the import of cotton from Brazil quite a bit. Currently, when the cotton comes, they not only they want these certificates, phytosanitary certificates, they open up all the containers and open up all the cotton to check whether there is seed or whether there is this or not. So if these formalities could be assured that you don't have seed in your cotton and so forth, it would make matters a lot easier.
Is that only for Brazilian cotton or for all imports?
No, at the moment it's for all. But should you engage with the plant protection here, you could get your cotton to be exempted from this. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Miguel, would you like to add anything about that? Because we were talking the other day about exactly about this situation, the bromide fumigation to Pakistan. Did you see any progress in that end?
Yes, good morning to everybody. Good evening. Yes, we had this problem at the end of last year of the brometo due to the increase of exports from Brazil to Pakistan. Pakistan was one of the first countries to open up its economy after the pandemic month. And the imports from Pakistan were huge. So what happened is that Brazil lacked this brometo de metila at some point. So there was an important action that involved both governments, Brazil and Pakistan, and we were able to get a permission from Pakistan to make the fumigation the destination. So this is gonna take for some time, still a few months, until things normalize here and the supply of brometo de metila normalizes here in Brazil.
Mr. Miguel, I just need to ask one question. since Brazil is exporting to a lot of other countries that grow cotton, what are their standard practices on fumigation?
Well, we understand that Pakistan is the main country that asks for fumigation, and I think that's I'm probably the only one at the moment, not the only one, but the one that requires everything to be fumigated. We have a few cases in some other countries, but Pakistan is the country that requires it mostly.
Yeah, it's not only fumigation. They are also checking for seed in every container, in every part of the container. So that's another issue that needs resolution.
Well, the seed is something that is very limited in Brazilian shipments. We almost have no seed contents. Very rare cases.
I'm aware, but I think you should write to the government of Pakistan saying that this is the situation and that your cotton should not be subject to the same treatment as others.
And if I may add to this, there is an issue that we face that the cotton is fumigated at the port of departure, let's say in Brazil, and then also on arrival it's fumigated, so it adds to the cost also. So we need to check what other countries are doing, and if we don't have to fumigate it twice, then what cost savings can, as a buyer, can we save? So it could be, from a government to government level engagement with some data backing up. We also need to check, what is the US? Are they fumigating at the time of shipment? I'm not too sure at the moment, but we need to see if we can cut costs and just fumigate once. That could actually lower the price of the cotton. And also there's another question regarding the knitting yarns. Again, we would Mr. Haroon here has posted this question that if we can arrange a technologist or something to visit Pakistan, or somebody, a group of technicians can go to Brazil and sort of learn how you are spinning knitting yarns with Brazilian cotton.
Great question. I would like to leave this to Miguel or Julio. Would you like to take this question? Because I think it's very important.
Well, in terms of the fumigation, it's not done twice. It's done either at origin in Santos or at destination. So we are not duplicating these costs. And right now, it was authorized to be done at destination because of the lack of the raw material, the brometo de metila. But this is being supplied, and when it's normalized, it will be done in Brazil as it has always been.
About the clarification.
Yeah, I let Julio Bossato talk about the other part of the question.
Julio, the question was here about knitting. So what Mr. Haroon is asking is how Brazilian cotton used for production of knitting yarns for the knitwear sector. Can technologists be hired by Brazilian friends to organize demonstration in Pakistan? So basically, it's a technical question regarding if we could help them through technological support on how to use Brazilian cotton for knitting.
Olha, nós podemos entrar em contato com a ABIT, né, que é a Associação Brasileira das Indústrias Têxteis, e organizar essa visita, né, contanto que eles permitam. Eu queria colocar um negócio aqui, Miguel. Assim, pelo que eu sei, o único país que nós fumigamos contêiner de algodão é para o Paquistão. Eu estou certo ou estou errado?
Yes, I think so.
Ok. Então, eu acho que talvez, Marcelo, um trabalho da nossa embaixada, junto com o nosso adido agrícola aí do Paquistão, começar essas conversas, e aí a gente consegue também, com a nossa ministra da Agricultura, do MAPA, né, a tentar resolver essa questão aí e dinamizar o embarque, né, como é para os outros países, ok? Eu queria falar também aqui, Adil, sobre o que você falou do Green Card, né? Nós fizemos um apanhado de todas as amostras do algodão brasileiro, do HVI do algodão brasileiro, e comparamos com os resultados do HVI do algodão americano. E nós descobrimos que o algodão brasileiro, na média, ele é melhor do que o algodão americano nos quesitos de comprimento de fibra, microner e resistência de fibra. E nós somos iguais na uniformidade de fibra. Agora, o que os americanos têm feito melhor do que nós? E isso é praticamente porque eles estão há muito mais tempo no mercado do que nós brasileiros. Se você for ver o nosso gráfico de exportação, nós nos tornamos grandes exportadores a partir de 2018. Senão, o Brasil exportava 600, 800 mil toneladas em um mercado, vamos dizer assim, de oportunidade. E agora nós exportamos 2,2 milhões de toneladas de algodão e queremos crescer mais. Então, nós temos algodão 12 meses ao ano. E nós estamos organizando o nosso algodão de uma forma melhor. E, por isso, a importância dessas reuniões para que vocês nos tragam os problemas e aonde nós devemos melhorar. Agora, com certeza, nós, com o nosso sistema de rastreabilidade, o nosso algodão brasileiro responsável, em parceria com o BCI, e com o SBR-HVI, que é o programa de checagem que nós temos em Brasília, e nós estamos estruturando a nossa certificação com o governo brasileiro através do Ministério da Agricultura, a exemplo do que é feito nos Estados Unidos. Então, com certeza, nós vamos melhorar muito mais a forma como nós vamos ofertar esse algodão para vocês. O problema de tingibilidade, nós temos que saber da afiação que chegou, ou de quem faz a tinturaria, de onde veio esse algodão. Como nós temos o sistema de rastreabilidade, nós sabemos onde cada fardo do algodão brasileiro foi produzido, para a gente avaliar o que está sendo feito errado. Okay? E em termos de transtime, eu acho que o Miguel pode falar alguma coisa, hein, Miguel, se nós vamos conseguir melhorar. Nós estamos trabalhando também na melhoria da nossa logística. O Brasil já conseguiu exportar 340 mil toneladas de algodão num único mês. Então, nós temos condições de exportar todo o algodão que nós produzirmos. Agora, nós sabemos as limitações que nós temos de logística e o nosso custo, que é maior dos americanos ou dos australianos. Quer complementar, Miguel, alguma coisa?
Sim. Regarding the transit time today is quite high, it's around 40 to 50 days. And the reason is because we don't have direct lines from Brazil to Pakistan. So we have to transship in Europe. In different ports there, and right now there is a congestion in those ports, so the transit time from Santos to Pakistan is taking a little bit longer than it should be, but in any event it's going to be a longer time than US, for instance. But this is something that we hope with time this time can be improved in some way. and we'll have a shorter period of time until you guys get the cotton in Pakistan.
Thank you, Miguel. I mean, we're getting some questions here about green card, about quality certification system similar to green card, American green card, and I think Julio's answered has covered that pretty much. Saying we are moving towards that direction, towards more transparency, towards a very reliable classification system that's already in place. So now we will be releasing this information and getting this information more freely available in order to allow our clients to know and make better choices when purchasing cotton. Regarding the question about the knitting technology support, that's also within the areas that we'll be working, and we hope to be working with Aptima. If that's necessary, we will look, as President Julio said, we will get specialists, bring the specialists, run technical webinars to show how to make better use of Brazilian cotton, how to do this in a very technical way, because it's really, as Julio said, it's the best you can get, and you'll be able to, we'll be happy to discuss this as well. So now I have to move to other questions here. It's regarding freight. Questions: has freight cost increased from Brazil to Pakistan in the recent years? So question to Amir Sheikh. Can you have this answer, Miguel?
Yes, I do. No, the freight has not increased substantially from Brazil to Pakistan in the last couple of years. But the steamshipping companies are signing that it may change for next season. We saw already the freights on import containers increase substantially in the last 3 months. So something may happen for the next season. We're not sure how much, and it's not going to be in the same percentage that the imports occurred, but we may see some freight increase starting for next season.
All right, Julio, why are Brazilian bales different sizes? I mean, this question has been answered. It's important. I know you've already talked about that in other opportunities, but it's important that you share this information with all of us.
Porque nós temos algumas algodoeiras que trouxeram, principalmente as que não usam arame no fardo, mas sim aquela fita plástica, são modelos americanos que fazem fardo de 220 quilogramas. Mas a grande maioria dos fardos no Brasil são de 200 quilogramas, né? E existe uma dificuldade hoje de, vamos dizer assim, padronizar isso, porque teria que trocar as prensas dessas algodoeiras. E isso custa muito caro. Então, o que nós temos orientado é para que, na compra, né, seja solicitado isso, ou que a trade informe qual é o tamanho do fardo que o cliente vai receber. E procurar não fazer mistura desses fardos, né? Então, realmente, só que eu diria que 80% a 85% dos fardos de algodão brasileiro são padronizados em 200 quilos. Miguel, quer ajudar nisso aí?
That's basically what it is. Yes, go ahead.
Miguel, I have a question for you. When we buy cotton from America, the shippers pay the destination terminal handling charges, DTHC. However, when we buy from Brazil, buyers have to pay. Can Brazilian shippers include, can Brazilian shippers for shipping lines to include DTHC in the sea freight they pay? Did you get this?
Yeah, that's the situation right now. This charge is paid at destination by the import. That's something that we can talk to the shippers. It's a little bit up to them. We can try to have it paid here, but the only point that I would make that this would not change the final cost of the cotton at destination, because either if it's paid at origin, it's going to be included in the freight. If it's paid in the destination, the freight will be lower. But it's something that we can talk with the ANEA, Abrapa, and everybody else with the cheapest. But they're not very easy to change their procedures, as we know. But we can try.
Well, since they do this in the US, I mean, they can do this for Brazil.
I think
they could. We have to understand why there is this difference, but we can talk to them and try to see what's the reason for this difference.
Because actually, certain merchants also, when you buy cotton, Mexican cotton or Brazil cotton, certain merchants do include these charges, but very, very, I mean, I've seen a few cases where they do include, but there is an advantage, because when these charges, I think, translate to around 0.25% of the cost of the cotton. So if you can actually negotiate with the merchants or the shipping companies as a whole, this could also be a good step way forward, because you are competing with the US crop. So people will compare what they're paying and what they're getting.
Great.
Okay, very well noted.
Great.
We'll see what we can do.
So far, I mean, so far we have suggestions about the quality green card. We talked about size of the bales. We talked about this fumigation practices and how we can talk to the government to probably reduce the bureaucracy at the port level, the inspections, and make it easier to import cotton. And also, finally, this cost of that the shippers cost that could be also changed. So there's a big agenda. I think a question I would like to ask you, Mr. Bashir, would you like to be to have we have to continue this discussion. I think Abrapa and Aptima need to have a permanent discussion in that sense, to set up an agenda that they are of common 8 items of common interest, and so that we can work together in a way that improve these points that we see are key to the development of the Pakistani textile industry. So would you be willing to discuss that in a second meeting or in a more closed meeting, so that we can draw a plan and work with our government, with your government, with our associations, in order to improve and move forward?
Yes, Marcelo, we can do it. What we can do is we can make a working group, and we would like to include the large importers of cotton from Brazil, from the spinning industry, and also so we can have maybe 2 or 3 people, and a working group can actually be formed, and they can coordinate and discuss all these issues and find a solution to it.
Good. I would love to join if I could join and participate even virtually with you and in your team, in your group, in order to find with you the solutions that we can work together, okay, if possible. Julio, yes.
Marcelo, eu só queria fazer uma colocação nesse sentido, que, assim, eu não sou um executivo da Abrapa, eu sou um produtor de algodão. Assim como todos os associados da Abrapa são produtores de algodão. E quando nós falamos que nós precisamos saber quais são os pontos que nós precisamos para melhorar e conseguir vender mais algodão para vocês, é porque nós podemos fazer isso. Olha, diferentemente do que o algodão da Índia, que tem 14 milhões de produtores, ou da China, que tem 20 milhões de produtores, e os Estados Unidos, que tem 15, 16 mil produtores, a Abrapa, nós somos pouco mais do que 500 produtores. 500 produtores. E nós temos 10 associações estaduais que esses produtores estão organizados e unidos nela e todas coordenadas pela Abrapa. Então, nós podemos rapidamente transferir informação para os nossos produtores e gerar mudanças naquilo que se faz necessário. É muito mais fácil fazer isso com 500 do que com 20 milhões. Então, Marcelo, por isso que é importante que a gente tenha essas conversas, que tenha esse feedback, para a gente levar isso e melhorar cada vez mais o nosso algodão e a participação no mercado. Então, o que eu quero dizer é que nós podemos e queremos fazer essa melhora. Ok?
Thank you, Mr. Busato. I think we, Mr. President, we have to move on to finish our webinar. So before we finish, I would like to ask Miguel, would you like to say a few words, your last words for the meeting tonight?
Well, I would like to thank our friends from Pakistan. It has been a pleasure to participate in this meeting, and we are looking forward to become a partner with Pakistan on the long term. We have too much we can accomplish together. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Miguel. Mr. Adil, would you like to say your final words?
Thank you, Marcelo. Again, I would like to thank everybody who has participated in the discussions and for this initiative by the Brazil Cotton Growers Association, APARA, right? And I think this step will take our relationship, way forward, and we need to continue this interaction. And as discussed, for our issues, we'll, as on an association level, we'll make a working group. We will coordinate with you, and then any issues, any problems, and questions, can be routed through that working group in future. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your help, the help of the embassy and your team. Saad has been fantastic, and the entire team. Mr. Shahid Sattar, he had to leave, but thank you very much, Mr. Sattar, for being here with us, and look forward to continue working with you. And it's been a pleasure working and organizing this webinar with you and your team, Mr. Bashir. Now I would like to pass on to our president, Julio, who is going to say his final words and close this webinar. Please, Mr. President.
Grato, Marcelo. Eu quero fazer um convite para o senhor Adil Bashir e as pessoas da ATMA para, nos meses de julho, agosto ou setembro, visitar as fazendas e ver a colheita e o beneficiamento do nosso algodão. O Marcelo está agora com a missão de organizar essa visita junto com a APTMA, e eu irei pessoalmente acompanhar vocês aqui no Brasil. Olha, como foi apresentado hoje, nós estamos produzindo um algodão em quantidade, exportação durante 12 meses ao ano, qualidade que hoje nós atestamos pelo programa SBR-HVI e que estamos melhorando agora com o apoio do nosso Ministério da Agricultura, a rastreabilidade através do nosso sistema SAI, que já existe há 12 anos, sustentabilidade através dos programas Algodão Brasileiro Responsável e o BCI, e através da tecnologia e escala de produção, nós conseguimos, em 4 anos, dobrar a produção brasileira de algodão. E como eu falei anteriormente, se nós pegarmos uma área da soja, nós podemos repetir isso. E o que nós precisamos para fazer isso? Primeiro, que a cultura do algodão tenha rentabilidade. Segundo, e mais importante, o mercado. E para isso, nós criamos, junto da PEX e junto da NEA, um escritório da Brapa na Ásia, em Singapura, para nos aproximarmos mais de vocês. E essa foi a primeira reunião que nós tivemos, mas com certeza não será a última. Nós queremos aumentar a nossa participação no mercado de algodão do Paquistão. E para isso, nós precisamos nos conhecer mais, criarmos uma relação de confiança e aumentar os nossos negócios numa relação ganha-ganha. Então, eu espero poder nos encontrarmos logo, podermos nos abraçar e fazermos mais negócios. Fiquem bem, fiquem com saúde, um grande abraço e assim encerramos a nossa reunião.